What video game will always hold a special place in your heart? Minecraft really got me hooked around 9 years ago, and I've been coming back to it every few months. It's one of those games you can simply play forever. Mass Effect. Me too. I beat it over quarantine and learned what me depression is. Great game. One that really fucked me up too though, especially since I hadn't seen any of my friends or anything for ages. I kind of replaced my friends with the characters in the game, so it really made me sad when someone died. I ended up having to delete them from my computer because it was getting to the point where I couldn't sleep because I was thinking about the characters all day all night and the music was playing in my head. That game is a life changer. My friends and I really bonded over playing Halo for hundreds of hours in college, in between classes, before parties, and late into the night instead of studying. Thanks to Covered in the Master Chief Edition on PC, we've gotten back to playing once a week in our late 30s. We started with 4 and now we have 12 people showing up weekly. Half the guys I haven't talked to in years and everyone fell right back into the groove, like we were 20 again. It's a testament to how good Halo was and still is. Asterisk POUNDSDESK asterisk Spiro. The motherfucking dragon. And not that Skylanders crap. I'm talking the first 3 games on the old PlayStation. The first Spiro game was the first video game I remember playing, and I was hooked from the beginning. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. When we're kids, my brother and I would play this with my dad. It is my favorite game of all time, because I remember him beating the bosses and we roamed the world. Morrowind. I was going through a really rough time when it came out and somebody gave it to me. I wasn't even into games, but I installed it and tried it out for some reason, and it became my escape from the stuff I was dealing with in my life. Anytime I wanted to kill myself, I would just load it up and play it and feel like I was able to get away from all the things that were messed up in my life. Pokemon Yellow. I was devastated to see that later games didn't have your starter follow you like Pikachu would, and the game seemed easier in my mind because there weren't the challenging matchups of the Viridian Forest, Brock's Gym, and Mount Moon straight from the get-go purely from an electric starter. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. We got it used and whoever had it before had written all of the cheat codes on a piece of paper and left it in the case. As a 12-year-old girl, I had a blast hitting random people with a pink Vespa. Metal Gear Solid 1 to 4. I got the first game in 1999, and it was the first bonding experience me and my middle brother had. The 3 of us have been super close for decades after, and it started with MGS1. Same for Call of Duty Black Ops, but with my youngest brother. TL. Dr. Halo for the original Sparks. It, and the friends that would form my red team, saved my life. I had thought my gaming days were largely behind me. I was an ice hockey player in high school and thought I would keep it and my other athletics up. Snow skiing, swimming, water skiing / wakeboarding, and fencing, and just wouldn't have time for gaming before I joined the Marines. Well, I got hurt playing hockey, which sucked, but the botched surgery to fix me sucked even more. I went from being an athletic hockey player to being in a wheelchair for part of high school. I gained my feet after some agonizing PT, but was left in pain. My senior year, I got on Xbox with 3 games, Halo, NHL 2002, and Munch's Odyssey, for my birthday. I hadn't asked for any of it. I was in a dark and low place. I would be unable to join the Marines. My hockey days were over, and I was 18, in pain, and walked with a limp that is less pronounced today, 18 years later, but is still there. I couldn't have been any fun to be around. One of my friends knew I planned on offing myself right after graduation. I had my lethal plan hanging, and the materials to execute it. Well, that friend got the rest of my friends to stay with me. We started playing Halo that year. It was fun, really a lot of fun, but my plans remained unchanged. I graduated and was mentally preparing myself for my end. But that friend came over the day after graduation and played with me. The next day, he was back with the rest of my friends. That whole summer, I was never alone. Turns out, he had been scheduling times with my other friends to play Halo and keep me company. They got me talking about the next steps in life, what this would be, and some things mine could be. For 2 months they kept me alive by making sure I understood that I could still enjoy life and have fun. And fuck was Halo fun. LAN parties were such a blast that we had weekly parties where we'd invite other kids from high school over to play along into the night. They got me to register for community college, and before I knew it, I was back firmly in the world of the living and wanting to stay. I couldn't join the Marines, but found a love for psychology and ended up in graduate school and now work as a psychologist in schools. Had I been medically fit to join the Marines, I would have likely ended up in Iraq or Afghanistan, or both. Instead, I love my career, and I'm grateful beyond words to be here, pain, limp, and all. But it all traces back to a handful of incredible mates, and a strangely beautiful and deep game about a soldier, his trusty AI, and a whole lot of LAN cables. Grand Theft Auto 3rd. Having played through the first 2 and many other 2D top-down look games with my 2 best friends, the shift from 2D to 3D was mind-blowing. The graphics were amazing. The story was cool, the characters memorable, the different cars and the cheat codes. That game will forever be the first game changer, pun intended, for me. Still waiting for the next real game changer. Nothing have yet come close for me. Final Fantasy IX. It was probably the most underrated and forgotten of the series for many years, but in the last couple years it's finally started to get the love it deserves. It was basically a love letter to the Northeast/SNES games with its medieval art style, purposely cartoonish looking characters, and there are references to previous games at every turn. The story plays out like a fairy tale with, the best ending of the series that leaves me a crying mess. Not to mention Vivi is the best FF character ever. The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. It was the first "real" game I ever played, and no other game's story has ever touched me the same way. Side note, I recently got it again, and a new AI, which was the last one at the GameStop funny enough, and immediately remembered the controls. It was like meeting an old friend again for the first time in years. Destiny. It's what really got me into gaming. My family used to just play our Wii for family game night, but would never really play it any other time. Then we got an Xbox for Christmas, so we could play Disney Infinity with my cousin. I was over at my friend's house one day and saw him playing this really cool game I had never seen before. "'Twas Destiny. I begged my parents to let me get a T game. I have very strict parents. After a lot of convincing and them even watching videos about it, they bought it for my birthday. To this day I have close to 3,000 hours into that game, and it brought me where I'm today. Dark Age of Camelot. Geez, those days were nuts. Not to get super sidetracked, but in high school I literally eat, slept, and breathed day oak. That game was my life. I rarely bathed, didn't brush my teeth. I treated everyone like crap. I was addicted to that game. The craziest part is the worse I got, it seemed like the more girls wanted to go out with me. Why? My hair was long and oily, like my face. I don't think that same behavior works when you're an adult, lol. Age of Empires 2nd and Age of Conquer's expansion. I always went back and played it, and the definitive edition is great. Day of Defeat 3.1b Steam didn't even exist at that point. You had to enter specific server rights until game managers like All-Seeing Eye or GameSpy came out. It was the definitive beta release. It added airborne maps and weapons, hand signals, etc. There was a night map, ._hedgerow, where the allied team dropped in as paratroopers and had to wind their way through hedgerows and blind corners to get to flak gun emplacements. We'd spend the whole time trying to make no sound and using only hand signals to communicate. I might just be old but shit. Where's all the RuneScapers at? The Cayman Stadium, old school 64 Mario Party, Perfect Dark, loved FF9, all-time favorite for sure, Ocarina of Time, even Sega Lion King and Ninja Turtles, that army game with the plastic figurines, Skies of Arcadia for the Dreamscape. While we're on that note, Grandia 1 and 2. Defiantly Tales of Symphonia I saw that mentioned though. Lunar SSSC into Eternal Blue. Secret of Mana and Secret of Evermore. Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. Legend of Dragoon. Vagrant Story. Legend of Legaia. Alundra 1 and 2. Wild Arms 1 and 2. Dark Cloud. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1 and 2. I could go on and on about so many games that made my childhood great. Now that I think about it, I've played so many gems most people nowadays wouldn't have a clue about. Super thankful to my dad for introducing me to JRPGs as a kid. Now I'm 26, and I still think about those games all time. Sorry it was long, but man, this question had me on a nostalgia trip. Thanks for asking this. Banjo-Kazooie. Although I've replayed it so many damn times at this point that it's lost the nostalgia. Probably 100% over 10 times now. Some honorable mentions: Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Tooie, Halo 1, Minecraft, Sorter, Donkey Kong Country, DK64, Pokémon Snap and Stadium, Crash Bandicoot Warped, and the original CTR, GTA 3, Vice City, and to a lesser extent GTA Sap Bully, Re4, Sockem, Tony Hawk, and Pokémon Red Blue/Gold Silver. With all that said, Sockem needs a remaster. Thanks for watching. In comments, write about similar facts and situations from your life. If you enjoy this video, watch other on my channel, and have a nice day.